explosive levels of methane, and a host of contaminants, including uranium, associated with drilling. And then EPA released a desk statement to the press saying Dimmick's water was safe. It was deja vu all over again.
Water in Dimmick is at the center of a national focus on natural gas drilling's impact on drinking water. The EPA's first ruling is that the water in those homes is safe to drink.
Without the tests being released to the public, the media ran with the headline, Dimmick's water was safe.
Hello?
Josh,
Scott.
they come here and they said, well, you know, I mean, down and, you know, your water's not detrimental to you, and we'll help you set up your well, you know, hook up to your house, is why you can't, it's totally disconnected. And they said, well, off the record, we recommend that you don't use or drink your water.
Who said that?
EPA. Freaking, he said it right here in my house, in my dining room, well, off the record. And I said, Jesus, I said, you wouldn't go public with that? Nope, you can't. He's all nervous. He's pumping a cigarette off because he doesn't smoke, but only when he gets nervous. He says, I'll never testify to this. He says, you know, this is our livelihood. He says, we have to listen to the higher-ups. You know, they tell us what to say. I said, why can't anybody tell the truth? And they go, well, you know what kind of contributions and donations they make, right? Is you got the oil industry. And he said this. He says they have so much money. They have such an influence on what's happening here.
When a federal agency changes course, it happens all across the nation. Just 2 weeks later, the imminent and substantial endangerment order against Range Resources in Texas was lifted. The Lipsky case was dropped. The press was told the case was settled, but there was no settlement for the Lipsky family. Their water was still flammable. No arrangement for water replacement was made, and a pipe replaced the garden hose off the headspace of their water well, which spewed a flame 3 feet high. Steve and Shiloh Lipsky were dragged through the media in a smear report from Fox News. And the campaign against Al Armendariz finally succeeded. He resigned under pressure. With all this back and forth, I asked retiring Congressman Boris Hinchy, who had originally asked EPA to get involved, who was the sponsor of the FRAC Act in Congress, what he thought was going on.
My thought is that there are a certain amount of contests within the Obama administration. There are people within the administration who have differences of opinion. Some understand that the way in which this frac drilling operation has taken place and is taking place right now is being injurious and is costing a lot of money, is being harmful. And there are others who are very much in favor of what this situation should be continued.
We have to find out if it's safe for us to be here. But we also have to find out what happened so that we can stop it from happening again. Because people complain about the price of gas. Wait till you're paying twice that for water.
What was more troubling was that both Scott Ely in Pennsylvania and Steve Lipsky in Texas were saying the same thing. Mid-level EPA would come to their door and tell them we're sorry, we're being yanked off the case. Higher-ups are telling us we've got to walk out on this.
It didn't make any sense. Again, I got people from inside the EPA, because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, because there's good people there, I think, and said that higher up just yanked it away from them.
Philadelphia has got a call from the higher-ups from D.C., chewing them out.
He said that it wasn't just Range Resources, the gas company came after it was the whole coalition.
But it was from the higher-ups. And they said there was some congressmen that were calling, you know, and when they first came in here, there was congressmen that were really harassing EPA. Why are you there? Get out of there. You don't belong there.
And it's kind of scary when your own government is afraid of a business.
Don't use your water. It's not safe. We can't do anything about it. Orders are coming from above.
Ready to move.
You ready to move?
Yeah. I just,
Well,
You'd really walk out on this if you had to. I guess you have to, right?
As As it turns out, neither Steve Lipsky nor Barack Obama was compelled to move. Steve Lipsky didn't give up. He kept pressing reporters to look into the case. And just after the election, all sorts of things turned up. It turned out that EPA had done a full hydrogeological study of the gas drilling near Steve Lipsky's house, showing a fingerprint match between the gas in Range Resources' gas well and the gas in Steve Lipsky's water well. So the EPA knew the whole time. A letter from the Texas Regulatory Agency to Range Resources stating that their cement job had failed. So the gas company knew the whole time. An email that revealed that former Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell had actually lobbied the EPA on behalf of Range Resources to drop the case. Just a few weeks after the election, Lisa Jackson, EPA administrator and lead investigator on fracking across the U.S., resigned. Scott Ely hung on in Dimmock, continuing his lawsuit. And New Yorkers didn't give up either. Citizens submitted 204,000 public comments on the last stage of the environmental impact statement, forcing Governor Cuomo to halt the process and continue the de facto moratorium. But for the rest of the Dimmock families, when EPA's press release seemed to destroy their case, their lawyers turned around on them, saying you've got to settle with Cabot and you have to sign non-disclosure agreements, or else we're coming after you for our expenses, which the residents could in no way afford. So in just a matter of a year and a half, the Dimmock case that exploded in the media and been reported worldwide had set the stage for a precedent for water replacement throughout PA and throughout the world that could have cost the gas industry trillions of dollars to fulfill. To being shoved in the corner, denied the truth by the federal government, the gas industry, and the state, and told to take the money, shut up, and go away. The residents started preparing for silence.
As a last question, if you're in a position where Cabot would do nothing except if you guys signed an agreement that said you couldn't speak anymore, what would you like your last statement to be?
Well, knowing me as well as you do, and a lot of people know me, that it's like I almost never stop talking. My husband says, you wake up talking. And I do. I'm a communicator. I've given this my all, Josh. I've given this 200%.
So there isn't one final sentence, statement?